All right, you guys. So I used to be a liberal. Okay, so when I say liberal, I don't mean it simply politically. I mean it socially. I would say in many ways that come with sort of that label of being a liberal, right? And cosmopolitan, metropolitan, sort of maybe very even feminine, I say, or feminist even, right? And so this all came. It was very subtle and it was very indirect, and it kind of happened slowly, and I didn't realize it until afterwards. So for me, the indoctrination process came from going to college, right? Going to uni, right? And so what happens is you get presented one side of every story. Usually, you don't get two sides or three sides, right? You get one side. So what ends up happening is that is the story, right? What you get, right? And most professors are usually progressive, left leaning, and everything that comes with that, right? Like I said, this is not necessarily political, right? But it does lean into the politics, or it does spill into the politics eventually. So anyhow, so with that, there's certain mindset, a certain set of components that come with being a liberal, right? And in my case, I ended up, what would happen was I was consuming all this information, and I sort of felt like the weight of the world, all the injustices, quote unquote, were on my shoulders. Okay. And so you start feeling that weight, right? And you start to like really absorb a lot of that negativity, right? And it sort of feels almost defeating because the way that the stories are portrayed doesn't really leave much room for hope, right? And so what ended up happening was that I slowly, gradually, and I would say even gracefully adopted a victim mindset, right? And that is probably the tragedy. That is the biggest tragedy of going to university and adopting a liberal mindset, is that almost without a doubt, you will leave with the victim mindset. Okay, so what happens is at that point you lose all your agency, right? There is no sense of autonomy. There is no, you have really no way of weaving your way through the muck, through the difficulties, through the travails, through any sort of misfortune, any bad luck, any rough patches along the way. You start to feel defeated and you don't think that you have a way out of a situation, right? So that was the main thing that came with becoming a liberal, right? And trying to undo that was that, okay, I had a victim mindset. I had to free myself from that. I had to liberate myself, if you will, from a victim mindset. Um, and then so I operated with more urgency and realized, and more agency rather, and realized that I had the opportunity to really make decisions for myself and really take my life in my own hands, and really have some have some say in how things went, right? I wasn't a bystander anymore. I was an active agent in sort of carving out my destiny. Okay, so that was the main thing that I had to wrestle with, right? The other thing that comes with being a liberal, right, or being in those liberal circles, is the lack of faith, right? There is no spiritual component. There isn't an external source to tap into. A lot of it is like godlessness and very secular ideas, right? Which is that if you get rid of God and you have to substitute it with something, you end up with woke culture. You end up with something else to substitute it, usually material, right? There is no spiritual dimension to it. Although like the new agey stuff kind of taps into it, but like in a non-dimensional way, right? There is no institution to sort of keep you afloat. There is none of that, right? So you strip that. I brought that back in, right? I introduced Islam into my life, and it has been a beautiful experience. That has been great for me. The other thing is that I ended up, incorporating exercise into my daily routines, right? Super important, right? Is to adopt a mindset of training, right? And this could be anything, right? For me, it's calisthenics, but you do what you want. If you like the gym, if you want to play tennis, anything of the sort, do that. Whatever it is, as long as you get your body moving. If you want to do something for your mind, do something for your body. If you want to do something for your body, do something for your mind. Okay? The other thing is you got to learn how to tap into your spirit. And I think that's where the left is missing, right? Because it encourages a lot of weakness, right? There's a lot of weak points in going that route, right? Because what ends up happening is the state becomes your father, right? Because you rely on someone, you rely on something outside of yourself to have control over your life. And that is the worst way to go about things. The thing is Now that I've sort of, wrestled away with a lot of these ideas, um, it's made things a lot easier for me, because then I realized like a lot of this is like mindset, right? It There could be, of course, there could be a lot of misfortune, there could be a lot of troubles in your life, but at the end of the day, if you put your focus and put your energy on the things that you have control over, that you can do something about, that is really the mindset you want to have. And so if you're in that spot where you don't see the blind spots yet, I hope that this video can help you realize that going the liberal route won't necessarily get you the outcomes that you want, deserve, need, uh, in a world where our masculinity is constantly being questioned and stripped from us. And so now more than ever, I think you should really reevaluate what it is that you're adopting, what type of mindsets, what type of information are you ingesting. Okay? So I hope this helps. I'll see you in the next one.